Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Contemplation series. Today I want to discuss the concept of freedom of choice, about which Al-Maududi writes, "It is the way a person exercises this freedom, which is the freedom of choice, which divides mankind into two groups, believers and non-believers." So let's just contemplate on the universe around us. So we have the sun, the moon, the ecosystem, the food chain, and different objects of nature around us. And what we observe is that every single object of nature around us is following a specific law. It is following a specific command. It never deviates from its pattern, right? For example, the Earth is rotating around the Sun in a defined orbit. It never deviates from its path, and the year is not going to be more than 365 days. The Moon is rotating around the Earth, and the Earth is rotating around its own axis. A day is not going to be longer than 24 hours. And then ecosystem, we see, the water cycle, the evaporation of water and the rain that comes down, and the food chains are so well defined that one animal eats another animal for food, and this chain just moves on. And so this stability that we see around us is so well managed, and we are not the one managing it. So there's a higher being that under the commandment of which every single thing is systemized, and that is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? Now, similarly, we dive into the human body, and starting from, the structure and then the function of every single organ and tissue and cell inside the human body is so well defined, and it's working perfectly as it should on according to a specific command. So we see inside the cell, we have cell division, the nucleus, and all the organelles that are working perfectly fine. And then the organs like the heart, lungs, liver, everything is doing its job properly at a specified time. And not only that, the systems inside the body. We have the GIT system, we have the urinary system, respiratory system, circulatory system, then the lymphatic system, and it just mesmerizes you that inside your body, every single process that is occurring on the same defined line, and it's automated, right? And of course, our intellect never accept the fact that things can be automated. Of course, there has to be a creator behind it. So our in every structure inside our body is submitted to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is submitted to the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? So this is that even inside the human being, the subconscious of the human being the structures and its creation, its structures and the function is submitted to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, the point comes that now I'm going to be portraying two cases. In one case, a person consciously does not submit to its creator. So whereas its subconsciousness has already is working because of its submission, is working because every single function, structure and function inside the body is submitted to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, due to which it's performing perfectly fine. When these consciousness and the subconsciousness are moving in opposite direction, that is the subconsciousness being submitted to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whereas the consciousness does not, so there is a friction, and this leads to contentions and confusion inside the personality of a human being. The other case is that using the intellect, a person chooses to submit to consciously submit to the being to which the subconsciousness has already submitted to. So then the consciousness and the subconsciousness are paralleled, right? And this leads to a defined soul. So it's all about what a person in his conscious self chooses to submit to. right? And if it submits to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then he is a defined soul, he is at peace. But when he does not, then there's contention inside the soul and in his personality. So this is about what the freedom of choice um, where the freedom of choice plays a central part. And it is through the tool of intellect and reasoning that a person uh, makes the correct use of this freedom of choice. And when it makes the correct use, it submits to the one and only being Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And once a person submits consciously to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then he is at peace. He is a representative of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and this world is for him and he is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So with this being said, ma'as salama.